Uh, welcome, guys, to episode 120 of the Off and Beat podcast. I am your host, Clint Nelson. Before we start today's episode, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, follow the app on all pods, continue following, put the notification bell, but most importantly, fellas and ladies, it don't matter, suck some titties. In today's episode, we're gonna get right to it. You've read the title. You gotta flirt to squirt. Uh, Today's episode, I want to help the men out here, because you know what? You ladies deserve better than this lame ass game. You know what? And let me clarify. I should place some disclaimers. I would not call myself a ladies' man, but I'm a man for the ladies, and I care about these lame ass dudes out here that have no game. Now, let me help the young fellas out here. So in today's episode, I thought I'm going to create a bunch of scenarios. And in these scenarios, I'm kind of going to play the guy and the girl role. And this is to help the men to understand when these situations exactly occur, because all these situations will occur for a man once or twice in their life. And this just for the men, repeat these situations verbatim, and I promise you will get an answer out of it. Now, what's going to be the answer? I don't know. You're going to get an answer. So yeah. Let's start this. Okay. Let's see. Let's say you're at the good old Walmart. Let's start off simple. Let's say you're over in that deodorant body wash section, right by the condoms. And let's extend your hand out for this. So let's say you decide to veer down the ladies' aisle. Gotta let them know what's up. And you see the girl, she's looking at, some body wash and stuff, and you're looking over there pretending that you're looking for your girlfriend that you don't have. Keep the spark in the interest. And be like, "Excuse me, do you know what the ladies would like?" Say exactly like that. "Do you know what the ladies would like?" She's like, "Well, depends." And you're like, "Well, tell me." And you look her dead in the eyes to let her know she's got your attention. And she's, pointing around, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, "Hey, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have a girlfriend. But thank you for telling me what you like." And you say, "This one's on me. Want to go to Chili's?" After you bathe with this body wash I just got you because I bought it. And off and away. You go to self-checkout. See? That wasn't hard. All right. And now let's make an alternative body wash situation. You know what? Let's say that one you strike out. Let's say 2 hours later, because, you come back to the scene of crime, but you try with another girl. You go down there, and you're like, "Come here often?" And she's like, "Well, I come here when I need body wash." So then you say, "Do you bathe often?" And she's like, "Yeah, fairly regularly, on the daily." She's playing a little hard to get. She's not playing along. And you say, "Well, I got a thing for girls that bathe often. And would you like to lather that on me?" She's like, "What? Excuse me?" And you're like, "Come and get it, baby." And next thing you know, you're in the fitting room. So, that's for the men out there. That'll work. All right. Now, Another scenario. Let's say you're at line at, I don't know, a coffee shop. Let's say you are in line. Let's say it's a busy Saturday. Let's just say it's 11 a.m., peak times. They're trying to recuperate stuff, so the line's taking a little bit long. Let's say there's a lovely girl in front of you. You tap her in the left shoulder very gently. Don't caress. Don't fucking grab the bitch. But, just tap her. And you tap her on the left shoulder. She turns around over her left shoulder because instincts. And you say, "Hey, I saw the devil on your shoulder." Now this girl, she's playing along. She says, "Oh really? What did he say?" He said, and then you say, he says, "Turn around and show me where the devil really went down to Georgia." And let's say she doesn't respond to that. Here's an alternative one you could also use. You're welcome for the free advice, by the way. You say, "Hey, he said, grab my crotch." And she either will or she won't. But hey, you know her intentions. If the devil don't make her do it, she don't want to. All right. She don't want to be saved. All right. Now let's say you're in American Eagle. Say you're looking for pants, right? Let's say you go to let's say you're in the slim fit area, right? Not really a slim fit guy. No personal experience here, but let's say you're not a slim fit guy. But she works there. Ooh, now we got a situation. Now you're dealing with someone on the job. So you kind of gotta caress. Yeah, well, not caress. You gotta toe a fine line without, because if you cross the line, she could report you, tell you to get out, you're creeping her out, and then you could be banned. And then not only do you not have access to possibly her, where you have a very bad impression because she got you banned from a retail store, but probably not going to have a good selection of pants options. No mas pantalones. But anyways, so let's say you're like, "Excuse me," and you wave her over. She's like, "Yes." And you say, you look at her tag, right? Say, "Oh, listen," you point out her name, like, "Ooh, he's got my name down." So that makes the awkward situation a little less awkward. And like, what do you think about these? And you pull out the pants and you put it over your legs, like the whole, like if you actually put over your legs, like that will actually give you a good indication of whether it fits or not. But we do, like, what do you think this looks like? I mean, she's like, "Well, I like the color scheme, but honestly, don't take the wrong way, but I don't know if it's your size." And you say to her, "Oh, well, maybe you can try me on for size." I hate myself so much. But hey, if that doesn't work, she doesn't want you. Okay, another scenario. Let's say, okay, let's make it a little interesting. Let's say we're on the sidewalk, right? Let's say you're in a downtown setting, right? You could put LA, ATL, Orlando, Milwaukee. It doesn't really matter. Metropolitan. Uh, let's say going down the sidewalk, you see a lovely lady walking past with a nice overcoat, even though it's 78 degrees out. And you see under it, she has a very, very nice revealing dress. And you pretend that you're on your phone. You pretend you're a tourist, right? You're like, "Oh shit, I have no fucking clue where I'm at." And you stop her like, "Excuse me, ma'am." She turns around. And well, at first she doesn't acknowledge you. But then you're like, "Excuse me, ma'am, I'm lost." And she turns around like, what are you looking for?" It's like, "Well, I'm lost for words because when I see you, my destination has changed. And of course, she's gonna blush like a motherfucker. And yeah, talk about a sea of red. Oh Jesus, been on the time of the month. All right, another scenario. Let's say you are. You know what? Let's say you are at a car shop. Oh yes, about to grind some gears here. Oh Jesus. All right, let's say you're at a car shop. Nothing crazy. Let's just say you're getting, I don't know, let's just say you're getting your brakes done. Nothing crazy, fairly cheap. You know, you have a routine schedule appointment, set up your brakes. They're getting down to the wire. Let's say you go up and be like, you're first in line. Like, yeah, I'm here. I have an appointment. Get my brakes done. They're like, cool. Take your keys. We're about to find some other problems to fuck you in the ass, but we're going to take your keys and let you know Hollywood is unlocked. Now, you go sit down the waiting area, the lady behind you. She goes up there. You notice her from a distance, like, oh, she's a lovely lady. Now, let's say she goes up there and she's like, I don't know, I'm hearing a knocking in my engine. And you go over there, sorry, ma'am, did you say knock, knock? She's like, yeah. He said, who's there? She's like, who's there, who? And then you say, that's me, changing your oil. And let me drain you dry. And you can too. And that doesn't work. She doesn't like you. Okay. Now let's say you're going to get some. Let's say you're at the Qatar. Oh Jesus. If you're at Qatar, good luck. Let's say you're at Guitar Center, right? Let's say, you're looking at guitars. You're in that little acoustic room, right? You go in there by yourself. You're in there by yourself, pretend to look at guitars that you're not going to buy. Because, you're like, this is a lot cooler than I can actually do. And you know nothing about it. But it doesn't matter. You go in there. And you're looking around. And the next thing you know, a lovely lady comes in right behind you. And she's searching around, kind of like when you're just going around a store knowing you're not going to buy anything. So you pretend to have deep interest in shit that you don't have deep interest in. You're just trying to basically walk around until, Batman is actually about to start. And as you're looking around for like 30, 40 seconds, you notice her kind of touching one guitar, touching one, looking at descriptions and stuff. And you go over there like, you point to the one that she's looking at. You have no idea what the fuck it's about, but that doesn't matter. You're like, this one right here, I heard word on the street is that it's got a good G chord. It really plucks it very well. She's like, oh really, which one's that? And then, you pick a random string because you don't actually know which one's the G string chord. And you're like, that one. And she's like, oh wow, that sounds very vibrating. I like, it really has an acoustic vibrating tone. It rings to my ear so beautifully. Do you play? He's like, yeah, I play with G strings all the time. And you give her a look, and she looks at you and winks and smiles back. She's like, do you like custom made ones? You're like, well, let's just say I've cut my tongue before playing the guitar. And if she doesn't like you then, she's not horny by then, it's not going to happen. All right, another scenario. Let's say you are at Best Buy, electronics store, right? Nothing crazy. Let's say you're looking for laptops. Let's say you're in the laptop section. Uh, Now, let's say you're trying to actually look for a pretty decent quality one. And you're looking for laptops, and you notice a couple sections over, there's a lovely, lovely lady looking at printers. And you go over there and say, fuck the laptops. You go over to the printer section, pretending you're looking at printers, pretending you're looking at this 3D printer, pretending you're looking at this wireless printer. You come over and be like, excuse me. It's like, yes. It's like, have you ever printed a picture of yourself? And her taken aback is like, you mean like on a printer? And you're like, yeah. So like, well, yeah, sometimes I print, tattoo ideas and stuff. And I have papers I do. I'm in college. And you're like, I can print a few things too. Have you ever seen a dick printed? And of course she's going to smile and be like, you got me. And if that doesn't work, she doesn't like you. All right. Let's say you're on, well, you know what? Let's make it really interesting. Let's make it a little difficult. Let's say you're at work. Let's say you're a man, you're at work. And let's say you work at a place where customers come in. You have to serve customers, you have to assist customers, whatever that job may be, doesn't really matter. In this situation, we'll keep it simple. We'll just say it's like a restaurant, you're a waiter, right? Now, let's say you come to the table and it's 3 lovely ladies. It's a trio of Bermuda Triangle lost in their way bitches. Excuse the language, just trying to keep it on track. But there's one that catches your eye. But more importantly, there's a different one that has an eye for you. The one that has an eye for you, the second you pull up is like, you're putting out the napkins. You're like, hello, my name is, we'll just say in this situation, Clint. I'll be your server. What may I start with you today? The one girl says, I'll take a water. The other girl says, what are your specials? The girl you like says, what are your specials? Is like, well, glad you asked. Because I'm the menu. And especially. And she looks at you like, what? That didn't make sense. And you're like, ah, shit. I'm special. And she seems turned away and like, okay, I'll just take sweet tea. So you already fucked it up with the girl that you actually have an eye for. But the girl that has an eye for you found it cute. She's kind of turned on that you actually tried to get with a friend and failed. She's like, You know what's funny is that I don't believe in special. And you're like, what? But we do have specials, And she looks at you and be like, do you have special someones? Now what do? Do you take the pigeon food that's given to you? Or do you turn it down, hopefully for the investment of the bigger picture? Got a dilemma here. And you tell her straight to her face, we don't have specials for you. And of course, they're all going to like squirt their pants. And you're going to go back to the girl you have an eye for and be like, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. We don't have specials at all. I hope you're happy. I quit my job. You're fucking ugly. I'm gonna fuck you. And the other girl, you're just in the way. And of course, you take the girl that, uh, you know, actually wanted you to begin with, and you're like, fuck it. And you take her to the bathroom and show her that juicy crabs. Ah, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Okay. That was not a great example, but make it do. Okay. Let's say you are walking in your apartment complex parking lot. Uh let's say you turn a corner and there's some girl walking a dog. You don't have a dog. You have your book bag. You're just going to your car getting ready to leave for the day. Now, her dog is sniffing the bushes and shit. And you go over there like, hey, did you know that dogs like bushes? And as she's like, nah, oh, I get it because he's sniffing the bush. And then you just go, let me get it. In case you don't get it for the audio, I sniffed, which means I'm a dog, and I want her bush. And then, when you take her back to her room, she can leave with the souvenir, a George W. Bush t-shirt. And talk about a shoe that you're afraid to dodge. What if the shoe was on the other foot? Alright, and that doesn't work. It's not happening for you. Alright, now let's say you go to the park. Let's say you're walking around, walking in laps. Now let's say a girl has way too many accessories. You can definitely tell she's not there for the exercise. She's really just there to look cool. Wear her those nice pink shorts. She's going around speed walking with her little doggy. And as she's walking around, she has her earbuds in. They're very loud. You can hear every track of the Summer Walker album. It's cool. It's my ex for a reason. And you go to this, and as you see her walking around, you're like, I got this. So you take off your regular shirt, and you have the tank top under, and you run past, and you run 2 full laps for approximately, 15 minutes. You run 2 full laps. You get a nice sweat in, get the little sweat, and you come around. And as you're coming around to lap her again, you tap her shoulder to get her attention. And you tell like, hey, pull your earphones out. And you do it in such like an emergency, thinking like something's happening, an emergency. She's like, what is it? What? And you go, I'm sorry, I've been lapping around you. And I was just wondering, would you like to dance on mine? And of course she's going to stop in her tracks and give you a lap dance. And if that doesn't work, she doesn't like you. Alright. Let's say you are at a takeout place. A little different dynamic than a restaurant. Let's say you're at a takeout place, right? Typically it's a pretty relaxed, not too many people are there. There's people in and out because they're just ordering, taking it to go, getting the fuck out. That's what happens, right? Now let's say you go up and be like, hey. And let's say the lady behind the counter is a girl you're like, I'm gonna do it today. Today's the day. Today's the day I make my mark. And I let her know she's gonna get it. And she's like, how are you today? And I say, never been better. Then she says, what can I get for you? And I said, well, you can start with some lo mein. So she, gets the little tongs and puts the lo mein in there. And what else? And I said, well, you can scoop me some crispy chicken. She scoops you some crispy chicken. What else? I said, well, you can give me some honey chicken. And she's like, okay. And then you point at her and be like, well, honey, I shrunk the kids. And she's laughing because, her kids are really short. And she's like, ha ha, I get it. Playing it off. And you're like, stop. Stop what you're doing. She's like, did I do something wrong? I said, no. Then you would say, honey, I shrunk my kids inside of you. Remember? She's like, no, we've never done anything of that nature. And you say, yeah, we have. You just don't remember. And then she'll start thinking, maybe we did. She doesn't remember. But if you say it, or was she drugged? And now you're in her mind. And you're like, don't worry about it. You go get your food, take it to go, and then you're in her mind all fucking day. And the next thing you know, you come back a week later. She pulls you aside when you walk in, like, I'm sorry, it's been on my mind. What did you mean by that? You're like, oh, I got you. Follow me. And she follows you to your car. And you know what happens if she follows you to your car? She wants it. So if that doesn't work, she doesn't like you. All right. Let's say you are in let's say you're at a picnic, right? Say you're at a picnic, but with 3 other people. You go over to the girl with the banana, mayo, peanut butter sandwich. And even though you think it's absolutely disgusting, you're like, crunchidize me, Captain. So you go over to her, and you're like, hey, you like thick nuts in your mouth? And of course, this girl likes to play along. She's a horny little fellow. And she says, yeah, what do you think the mayo's for? And she takes a bite of it like white she-devil. And you're like, huh. Nice. It's like, yeah. Now the tables are turned on you. I definitely like when a little white bread is provided. And I'm like, well. Glad to enrich your taste buds. She's like, you think you can? Think you're about it? And now you're like, oh shit. And see, now you're playing from behind. She's in the dominant position. But there's always one way out of these things. You look at her, you grab the sandwich from her, and I'm sorry, if you don't like it, you're going to have to take the L, and you're going to have to eat that fucking sandwich by yourself. And you just stuff that shit in your fucking mouth and chew. Even though it's disgusting as fuck, and you stare in the eyes while there's a little mayo and peanut butter around the rim of your lips. And you chew that thing for the next 18 seconds till you swallow that thing whole. And you say, milk me, bitch. And let me tell you, man, the blanket's there for a reason. And I don't even say she don't like that, because she's gonna like it. But just for covering my ass in this situation, if she doesn't like it, she doesn't like you. All right. Next scenario. Let's say you're watching television with a lady that you met that night. Let's just say you met a lady at a let's just say you ran into a lady at a lawyer's office, because I don't know, let's just say you're getting sued for, stealing, or let's say you're getting sued for not paying $4,000 of rent. And let's say in that office, she's a case after you in the waiting room. You don't know what her case is, not relevant. But let's say as you're walking out, you see her in the waiting room like, hey, I think you're really attractive. We should go out tonight. And she's like, oh, I would love to, but I don't have any money. Don't worry. Just come over to my place. We can just watch a little of the television. I'll cook. And she's like, well, okay. So you bring her by. Give her the Addy. Let her come by. Then guess what? You're watching a little Big Bang Theory. Now that part's relevant. Sitting there on the couch. You have your arm around her, the back of her neck around the sofa. Pretty casual. Keep it simple. And she's like, why is Penny always the one putting in effort for Leonard? And you say, well, maybe Leonard's a high value male. And she's like, you don't really believe in that type of bullshit, do you? Like, well, I don't know. Penny is really kind of like Rachel from Friends. And Leonard is like Ross. And she's like, oh, well, what? Because they're both smart and all this shit. She's like, well, no. Because both Rachel and Penny are selfish into themselves whores. And of course, that starts a whole broadband of, oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus. And you start a whole fight with some girl that you've never met. You don't even know her name yet. You start this, but how dare you, call a girl out a name? That is so wrong. You don't know her. You don't know her backstory, all this shit. It's like, hey, truth hurts. And she's going to look you dead in the eyes and be like, well, I do respect an honest man. So be honest with me. What is your plan for tonight? And you say, to give you the Big Bang. And that's not a theory, baby. And if that doesn't work, she doesn't like you. All right. Let's take a little intermission. Need a drink. Caramel iced coffee. 3:30 in the morning. Always good for the heart. Okay. Let's go back to the grocery store. Let's say you're in the cereal aisle. Let's say let's say you're in the cereal aisle and you see, this is for the conservative folks out there. I'm gonna create a scenario for the conservative folks. Let's say you're a guy who let's just say is a righty, as they say, even though I hate that terminology. But let's say you're back at Kroger. Well, we'll just make it a Kroger. Let's say you're at Kroger. Actually, you know what? Let's make it Publix. They seem like this more up their alley. Let's say you're at Publix. Let's say you're in the cereal aisle. Looking for some Cheerios or Golden Grams. And you see a lady with their shopping cart. And she's looking at the really kid cereals. So you know what? You're assuming she's a mother. Right? Not that that's ever stopped you. You see she's looking at, the Kogel Pebbles, the Fruity Pebbles, and the Orforseen Tricks. And you go up there like having a hard time picking. She's like, yeah, the kids, one day they want this. Every time I bring home the Cocoa Krispies, they wanted Cocoa Pebbles, even though it's still chocolate in the milk at the end of the day. And you're like, relax, sweetie, relax. You put your hand on your shoulder, relax. It's okay. Because you can tell she's stressed and built up. And she's like, I know. It's just, it's hard. I didn't think being a mother would be this hard. And you're like, well, let me make it a little bit easier for you. And you grab the Kix, the Kix. And she's like, the Kix? They don't really like that. And she grabs the tricks and you slap it out of her hand and you smack it on the fucking floor. You just spike that shit. She's like, "What the fuck?" And I said, "Well, not me, but you would say in this situation, silly rabbit, tricks are for trans." And she's going to look at you and smile because you both have found common ground. And she's going to get divorced the next day. And you guys are going to live happily ever after. Have blended family, your minds and ours. And let's just hope it is cheaper by the dozen. All right. And if that doesn't work, which it will, she doesn't like you. All right. Let's say you are meeting a girl that you met off a dating app. We'll keep it simple. We'll say like a Tinder, right? Not that I would know what that's about. TLC. Because you're ready to give her some love and some cooch. Now let's say you meet a lovely lady off the app. And let's say, you know what, you keep it simple. You meet at a public place at first, and then you go from there. You meet, I never understood, by the way, I never understand the logic of, we're going to meet in a public place at first, but then 20 minutes later, we're going to go to one of our private locations. We're going to go to your private location, where you can still do some bad shit to me, but cool, whatever. You're going to meet in front of a Target, say hello, hug, get a slushie, and then slushie. And then you're like, you know what? Let's go to my place. Get in the car. And you get in the car. The lady gets in the car. So you're driving the lady to your place. Nothing fancy. Just a nice apartment with a nice orange bed. And you bring her into your room. Bring her to your room. She looks around, judging the fuck out of it. She's like, wow, not bad. And I say, and you would say, you know what else isn't bad? She says, what? This dick. And if she doesn't like that, she doesn't like you. All right. Next sequence. Let's say, all right, we'll make this one a little short. Let's say you're just walking into an H&R Block, tax season coming up. Let's say you go to the door, and there's a lady behind you. Now you're in a dilemma because you know what? They're about to close in like 5 minutes, and they may only take one more customer. Now, you could just walk in and you be that one customer, and she goes fuck off. Or you could hold the door open, let her go first, and she'll probably go before you. And maybe they'll see that as a pass it on type of gratitude, and they're like, you know what? We'll take both of you. But you know what? Let's just say in this situation, they're only going to take one more customer for the day. And you see a lovely lady behind you where you look at her, you're like, I would do anything for her. I would even let her get her taxes done before me. Even though it's highly inconvenient, I planned my whole day for this scheduled appointment I have, but I guess it's got to be done. It's got to be done. So you open the door for her. And as she comes to the door, and she says, oh, thank you so much. That was so nice of you to hold the door for me while I was 38 feet away. And you're like, no problem. I know the walk can be a little taxing on you. Oh, Jesus. All right. And if she don't like that, you know what? Fuck her. All right. Next sequence. Let's say you are at Bath and Body Works. Not Bath. Why did I say? All right. Let's say you're at Bed Bath and Beyond. All right. Bed Bath and Beyond. Now, let's say you're looking for some, I don't know. Let's say you're looking for blenders. Because, that's what people look for there. Let's say you're in the appliance, not the appliance, but the kitchenware area. Where you have like blenders. You have like NutriBullets. Well, that's basically a blender. You have like pots and pans, you got air fryers, you got, cool little fridges, whatever the fuck. Now, let's say you're looking for a blender, you try and do some cool stuff. Get a little juice cleanse, I don't know. Switch it up a bit. Now, let's say couple 6 feet away from you, there's a lovely lady looking at blenders as well. Now, you pretend to look at yours and you gradually go to the item that's right next to the blender she's looking for, and you see that she's looking at a really shitty blender. It's overpriced, not worth it's not worth the smash for the pash. And you tell her, "Hey, don't get that. This shit's a waste of money. It's no extra benefit." And she kind of has a smart ass tone. And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a blender expert." I said, "Well, we could be an expert on blending families. And if that doesn't work, you know what? She deserves to die in a ditch." So, she doesn't like that. She doesn't like you. Next sequence. Let's say you are at Bath and Body Works. Yeah, let's make it Bath and Body Works one. Let's say you're at Bath and Body Works. Now, we all know it's overpriced, and as men to go there solo, you would only go there if you have a lady in your life. That could be your mother, your sister, your soul sister. Oh, Jesus. And you're looking for some $8 hand soap that has like 12 ounces in it. You're getting some $5 travel size hand sanitizer. We know it's a scam. We know it is. But we still do it because the brand. God fucking brands. Gotta fucking love it. But us men, we suck with the brands too. We pay hundreds of dollars for bullshit brand. But not the point. Anyways. So, you're looking around. You have nothing in mind. You're just going there because that's what the ladies like. And you just go in there. I'll find some. Get out. Hunch over $48 for 5 items. It's just what it is. You just take the L and move on with your day. So you go in there, and you know what? You find some hand lotion. You find some soap, hand soap. You even find some spray, some fragrance spray, right? Just for the lady, right? Whoever that lady may be. Now, as you're going around, you have your little basket that you have 5 things in it. Which, by the way, any man with a little basket, I'm going to make judgments about you. Me included. So you have the little basket, couple things. And a lady comes up to you. Yeah, she's coming up to you now. She says, "Hey, I noticed you had the water spring fragrance in your basket. And may I make a recommendation? Maybe you should switch it." And you're like, "For what?" She's like, "Follow me." So she takes you to where the apple cider, whatever the fucking apple cider splash, whatever the fuck. I don't remember the names, but you know what I'm talking about. The apple cider shit. It's like, switch it for this. She'll appreciate it. And you're like, "You know what? I don't appreciate it." She's throwing back like, "Oh, well, fuck me, I guess." She tells you that. And you'll say, "You could, and I would appreciate it." And she winks at you a little bit like, "I see what you did there, but that's not enough to get me." And you're like, "Cool." So you grab out the hand lotion and you say, "Put out your hands." And she's a little thrown back. You grab the hand lotion and you squirt the lotion into her hands. She's like, "Why'd you do that?" "Well, somehow I have to squirt the flirt."
Little reverse there. She's like, I think it's the flirt to squirt. It's like, whichever comes first, comes first. And at that point, dude, if you're not in, it's not like you have no hope. I can't help you there, man. Like, I'm giving you gems here. I am giving you gems. Okay, but next sequence. Let me take another sip before we continue. All right. Let's say you're at a sex shop. Yeah. Let's spice it up a bit here. Let's say you're at a sex shop, right? Um, let's say you walk in, and of course, the dude at the front counter is always a dude like, "Hey, anything you're looking for today?" And it's kind of awkward to be like, "Yeah, actually," to tell another man, "Yeah, looking for a cock ring. Got any hanging around?" He's like, "Oh, dude, yeah, gotcha. Right over there by the dildo swords." And you gotta walk past like, 18, 11-inch dildos to get to your cock ring. It's cool though. Little, it's got a little flashlight to it. But you go to the cock ring, and next thing you know, there's another girl over there. Haven't been looking for cock rings. We're gonna assume for her significant other or boyfriend. So you go there like, well, I think I see something's got you tight round. And she's like, haha. It's like, yeah, just trying to spice it up. It's like, well, typically cock rings don't really spice it up. It's just to kind of enhance some things. It's to just keep it going. And she's like, well, that's the problem. He doesn't really seem to want to keep it going. And I just thought it'd bring a little pressure. Sometimes a little pressure down there. I want to surprise him and I want to put it on him and everything. And she's like, have you ever worn one? Do you actually know? Like, I'm afraid, like, do you put it on when he's soft or hard? It's like, well, sure. I got an idea. I could go to the fitting room and try it on. And you can try it on for me. She's like, really? You don't think that's weird? I'm like, no. You say, no, it makes total sense. Sometimes you got to try before you buy. So, you go to the fitting room. She puts the cock ring on your cock. And then you turn off the light in there, like Pixar. And she's like, why'd you turn off the light? And I said, watch. And you press the little button, the little manual button it comes with, and it rings up like a Christmas tree. Right round, right round. It's like, oh my God, that's so cool. And you want to see something cooler? Top it off with the topper. She's looking up at you. You're looking down at her. If that doesn't work, she doesn't like you. She really doesn't. Next sequence. All right. Let's say you're shopping for fridges, right? Let's just say you're at an appliance store. I don't know, whatever place that sells fridges these days. Um, let's say you, yeah, let's say you're shopping for fridges solo. The wife ain't there because it's kind of weird. Like no single man goes shops for fridges. Fridges are always included. You only shop for a fridge when you're actually married or with someone about to move into a place. But shopping for fridges, and of course you go there and you're looking around. You got some Whirlpool, you got some LG, basically all these fucking companies that make laundry machines and TVs. It's kind of weird, the crossover. Uh, but You look around, and as you're looking around, there happens to be a lovely lady struggling to open one of the freezer doors because it's at the bottom. She's like pulling this. Want to say, and you go there like, hey, whoa, stop. And you get down, you squat down to where she's at, and you show her, like, you gotta tap it. It's a touch one. You just tap it. For safety things, you try to pull it, they're going to think, it's being stolen. You just gotta tap it. And then she taps it, and it opens. Just like, oh my God, thank you. I know I was probably looking so stupid. It's like, well, you know what would not look stupid? If I was tapping your ice cubes and putting the ice cubes on your clit and letting sensitive touch hit all your sensory senses. And if she doesn't like that, she just doesn't like you. Next sequence. All right. Now let's say you are playing volleyball. All right. I don't know. Let's say, you're serving right, serving the left, boom, 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 spike, Lee. Um, Now, let's say there's this really tall lady. But you're into the tall ladies. You don't discriminate. You're not one of these, oh, my girl's got to be 5'9" or shorter. And her standards are like, I just got to accept a guy because she's not going to find many dudes that are 6'4" and taller that are into her. So she's going to settle for your 5'10" ass. So, as you're setting it up for her to spike, because she's the front spiker, she gets all the RBIs, without actually really setting anyone in position. You're like, so you set it up for her to spike, and as she's about to spike, you say, "Let me squeeze your lemonade," and she stops in her tracks, like, "What?" And the ball falls right in front of her. She misses the spike. And she's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, and you'd say, I keep on saying he, but you would say, "Sorry, I just got distracted by your thirst quenching back stroke nips." And if she don't like that, she don't like you. All right, next sequence. Now, let's say you're back at the grocery store. Let's say you need some snacks. Trying to diversify the pantry. So you go to the snacks area where there's some Chips Ahoy, there's some cookies, there's some crackers. Crackerdize me, Captain. Now let's say there's a lovely lady over there. Let's just say looking at the cheese nips, right? None in particular. You go over there and you say like, "Oh, the good old cheese nips." She's like, "Yeah, they're one of my favorites. My mom, she used to always get them. Always get them because it reminds me of her putting them in little plastic baggies while she was sending me off to school." And you're like, so you look at her and you grab her nipples. And she's like, "What the fuck?" But she doesn't stop you because you're still just holding her breasts. You're like, "Sorry." As you're smiling, your nipples make me smile. And then you pull out your camera and say cheese. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. And she don't like that. It's gonna be sexual harassment. I don't know what else to tell you there. All right, next sequence. I don't know. Let's say, all right, let's say you go up to a lady, right? mm. And she says, "Hey there, how are you?" And then you say, "Never been better." She comes back at you and says, "You know what could be better?" And you like, "Nothing." She's like, "But play along. You know what could be better?" You're like, "Actually, I don't want to know what could be better. I'm pretty happy with what it is." And she's like, "For fuck's sake, just say what could be better." So you feed in and you're like, "You know what? I'm not going to tell you what could be better. I will tell you what is better." And she's like, "And what is that?" Wondering if it could be better. And she rolls her eyes, slaps you in the face, and you're like, "Hey." And as she's storming off like a little chick, like a like a little chicken, like a little Tweety bird. You're like, "Hey, before you go, I just got one thing to say to you." And she looks and crosses her arms at you, and you look at her with such visively visceral intent. And you say, "I like your style. And you sure like to leave me on red." Oh, Jesus, because my fucking face was just slapped by a bitch. So, yeah, she don't like that. She don't like you. Next sequence. All right. Um, let's say you're in the recording studio. Let's say you're a musician, a podcaster, whatever the fuck, Not the same for personal experience. Now, let's say you're in the stew and you go up to her and well, let me clarify. You're the artist, right? You're kind of listen, you're re-listening some tracks. Let me redo that verse. And as one of your verses is replaying, the producer's replaying, you're like, I want to change this line, this line. And one of the girls in there, this one specific girl's like, "Hey, you know what I think you should actually change the very first line. The one where you're like, 'Let me go to Waffle House, turn it around, and then I want to play a cone because I'm going to town.'" She's like, I think you should change Waffle House to Denny's." And you know what you say in return? But then he won't know where you are. And if she doesn't get that, she's a fucking dumbass. And she's not the one for you. Anyways, next sequence. Alrighty. Let's say you are at some what was it called? Rec? Is it rec where it's recreational environmental center? Where basically you're buying a combination of hunting, skiing outfits, you're buying outdoorsy shit, right? So let's say you go in there like, "Hey, I'm actually looking for some boots for skiing. I'm looking for skiing boots, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, come on over." They take you to the skiing boot section. And so you're like, "All right, I'll look around. Appreciate it. Thank you." So you're in the skiing boot section. And there's this one lady over in the shoe area trying on some skiing boots. So you go over to her and be like, "Does it fit well?" She says, "Yeah, it's all right." You say, "All right?" I mean, that's not all right. It should either fit really well or it doesn't. No in between. Your life's on the line as your lecturer. She's like, "Whoa, hey, I'm a top 10 Olympic skier. Let's slow your roll here. And you're like, oh, really? Top 10. And of course, you shit on her for being, top 10 woman skiing. You're like, top 10 woman skier. So does that mean you would be like, I don't know, 280th in men? Probably. And of course, she gets defensive, like, excuse you? Who the fuck do you think you are? And I say, well, hopefully I'm about to ski down to your splash mountain. Gotta flirt to squirt. This episode will probably go down as officially the worst episode ever. And honestly, I may not even release this. This may be the first episode that I never release. What I'll probably do is I'm going to store this and I'm going to play at a later date to show you the worst version. Because I realized about halfway through this episode, I didn't even do really the format I wanted to do. And my mind went blank. I wasn't really focused. So yeah, that was garbage. Not funny at all. And I'm sorry if I aired this. I'll probably have to redo one and just do a different version. That ain't go that well. But you know what? That's episode 120 of the Off and Beat podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow on all apps. Because you gotta flirt to squirt. And most importantly, suck some titties. And have a great day. If this is posted, probably won't be. And if it is, just know I just ran out of time and I said fuck it. Because I have my rule, never don't post shit that you record. If you record an episode, because it's not a good message. My belief is, and I've said this before, it's not about every episode being good or great. It's just about putting it out there and living with the results. And it will make you better by default. So, enjoy it. Don't enjoy it. But hopefully I'll make another version for you. Alright, guys. Have a great day. Jesus, that was fuck. I know sometimes at the end of the shit I say that was fucking terrible. But goddamn, that was not even funny. God damn it. Fuck.